you to the organizers for the invitation. It's a very nice place. I come back when you want. Don't hesitate. So also thanks to Sébastien who introduced several terms that I will need in my talk. So it's perfect. The main topic is just as in the previous talk. You just consider polynomial systems. So I consider polynomial systems in n variables on n equations, and with n plus k plus 1 monomials. So this is the sparsity of Sébastien. So my k here it looks a bit strange, but my k is just a positive integer number. You have to think about k as being or at least non-negative integer numbers. So here I have a coefficient matrix which encodes all the coefficients of the system. I also have an exponent matrix. So I put in column the exponent vectors of my systems, which correspond to the monomials of my system. So the size is the same. Yeah. And so you have some monomials which are this one. Monomials. Which appear in your system, and you consider the system. Yeah. And what we want to do is to bound the number of positive, at least for the moment, the number of positive resolutions of this system. So I denote it by this way, the number of real positive solutions. So it depends on the matrix A and the matrix C, capital C.
The maximum number?
This is the number of the system. It depends on A and C. Okay. So what we want to do is to bound this number using in terms of C and A. So you can, as Sébastien told, you can, in the simplest case, for n equal to 1, we have Descartes rule of sign. And then, so I take, we have this matrix, which one row. Matrix. Here I take the order given by the increasing order, the degree, increasing degree is important. And then what say Descartes rule of sign? It says that the number of positive railroads is bounded from above by some sign variation, the sign variation of this coefficient taken in this good order. So sign variation, you already everyone know what it is. Just look at the sign of the coefficient, forget the zero terms, and look at the change of signs between two consecutive coefficients. So as Sébastien said, this is from this you deduce the bond that Sébastien recalled, which depends only on the sparsity, so on K here. But this bond is finer than the Finobial bond we obtain. And the challenging problem in general is to generalize Descartes rule of signs for more general systems. It is still a challenging problem, and only very recently we get some progress in this direction. And in fact, the first, as far as I know, result in this progress in this direction is due to Alexander Lichtenstein, Hugh, contribution with Frank, from Frank, and so on. And it was described in the talk by Hugh. And this case corresponds to the case. So here we are in the case n equal to 1. So I prefer to write this in this way. N equal to 1, k arbitrary, any k. And any bond. Okay. And the first progress has been made any n, any k, but the bond is at most 1. This is the result described by Xu in this talk. So they give a criterion which involves maximal minors of the coefficient matrix and the exponent matrix. We say that if, in fact, the criterion is as follows: if the corresponding maximal minors have the same signs and are no zero, then the number of positive solutions, NXC, is bounded from above by 1. Okay, this is the talk. So today I would like to move the 1 here. So I have 1 here, 1 here. Now I move the 1 here. Okay. So today, any n k equal to 1 on any bond.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Can you repeat the bond? What's the bond?
Which bond? This one?
The right bond. Yeah.
No, they say that if some criterion is a maximal minors corresponding maximal minors of C and A are all the same sign, then and this number of position is at most 1. Okay. So now k equal to 1. So I consider a set of n plus 2 monomials in n variables. And I assume that these vectors here, or these points in n, do not lie some. We are in the generic situation. So I don't want to have 3 points contain a line, 4 points in a plane, and so on, because we can always reduce to this situation. And I also assume, as usual, that the matrix C has maximal ranks n, because otherwise there are infinite numbers of solutions, and so on. A is not contained in some hyperplane. It's okay. So now I can consider an augmented matrix this way. I just put another row which contain only ones, and just to say that if I look at the kernel of this matrix, it will be a vector space of dimension 1, and in fact which is generated by some vector of affine relation between the external vectors. It gives you the unique affine relation up to a scalar multiplication by some scalars of your circuit. Okay, so I assume that all coefficients here are non-zero. Okay. Now I would like to define some sequence like here, which will give a bound for the number of positive solutions of my system. So I need to define a sequence. So I do that now. It's a bit long, but I do that. So I denote by this guy is a matrix without a column I, and the same without column I and G. Okay, just a notation. And I take a maximal subset of the set of indices of the column. So I index my columns from 0 to n plus k, and the same for C. It's covenant. Okay. Such that what I want is that each time I remove 2 columns indexed in this set, which are different, then the determinant is non-zero. So you can think about, just say that this, you can think about K as being just this guy. In general situation, this is okay. And we say that the coefficient matrix has the ordering property if there is a bijection from K to itself, such that we want to have that the determinant of the matrix obtained by removing this image of I on G by alpha, the columns annexed by this image, is strictly positive whenever we have this condition. Two conditions. Okay. So assume that you have this ordering property. Then we choose just one element in this set of indices. And I define. In fact, I have to define also for any G in K. Perhaps I can do that here. For any G in K, define then I can introduce the real numbers which will enter in the scene variation that I am going to.
Is that J1? Is that J1 or what is that?
This is G, so perhaps I can be slower.
J1.
For G equal to 0, 1 to n plus 1, define as, so this is a bit complicated, but not so. And then you have some sum. Okay. So what it is here? So in fact here, this guy is just the coefficient of the affine relation with a good index here. And here you have, so you take and here you have some maximal minor of the matrix C with some sign.
Oh, so there's two things. There's a J1 and a J?
G1 and G. Perhaps I can, I'm not. Remove colon G1 and colon G. Okay. Okay. That's not that for G1 for G equal to G1. This is 0. Okay. So finally. Since I'm a very bad English speaker, I was afraid to not be able to state the main theorem, so I prepared it just before. So the theorem is the following. So, okay, so there is the first part. I'm not sure that it is readable. Here, the one here. So the first part just says that if something is true, then the number of positive solutions is either 0 or infinite. This is just some criterion saying that there are no positive solutions or an infinite number. So don't take care about that. And assume that these criterion are not satisfied, so that you may expect to have some non-zero number of positive solutions. So assume that we are not in the previous situations. You choose just G1, like here, and you take. So in particular, this point is interesting. If C has not the boundary property, we are able to say that to prove that there are no positive solutions at all.
I'm sorry, CI. Don't you have to remove two columns to make square determinant? The very first statement, determinant of CI.
So you remove one column. Yeah. Sorry, it is rank. Rank is n.
Oh, okay, good.
It's not n. It's less than n. Okay. Sorry. Okay, so perhaps I can be. If you remove, there is some I such that the matrix obtained from C by removing one column is not maximum rank, the number of positive solutions is 0. If this condition is clear, the condition is more important. If C has not the ordering property, then the number of positive solutions is 0. This condition means that implies that either we have either 0 or an infinite number of positive solutions. And assume that we're not in the previous condition here. Then there is an ordering property. There is a bijection which certifies the ordering property, so that you can define, as I did, the coefficient here. And the theorem says that the number of real positive solutions is bounded from above by the C variation of this coefficient taken in the good order.
Okay. And your n of A of C, do you count multiplicity or no?
Sorry? No, it's a number without multiplicity.
Okay, multiplicity.
So, there are several other theorems, but I think I don't. I will see later. But some consequence of that, we may obtain something very interesting. I will speak about them if you ask me after the talk. But not already. You can note that, in fact, this implies this bond, because here you have one term is 0, so you have in fact n plus 1 term at most, so the sign variation is at most n. So you get the bond 1 plus n. And this bond was known several years ago and was obtained by with Franck and Benoît Bertrand, it seems, if I remember well. So it is
at the top of the hill.
Yes.
At MS rank 2004.
Ah, okay. Yes, yeah, sure. So 10 years ago, happy birthday. And in fact, the proof of this theorem, the beginning is the same. So I can now give you some idea of the proof. The idea is the beginning is really the same. Sorry. So in fact, the first ingredient is what we call Gale duality that we already used 10 years ago, and then it was generalized to any polynomial system by me and Franck Sotil after. So this is just you make some elimination. No, here I choose G1 as in the theorem, and I may assume that I choose another G2 so that the minor here is non-zero. So in fact, I may multiply my matrix C on the left so that, in fact, this is minus identity. So this is just elimination. And at the end, I skip the details, but at the end you arrive at the following things. You see that the NAC is the number of real roots of some particular function in one variable. In fact, particular equation in one variable, and contained in some interval, which is the domain of positivity of this polynomial. So I just and what are these polynomials? In fact, so assume that my coefficient matrix is like this. So Pi is just And we put so, and y is just one variable. Okay, y is one variable. Okay. So the problem is to now we have to count the number of solutions of some equation in one variable in some possibly empty interval delta plus. So okay, you use just Rolle theorem. We derive this function, and if you derive this function, what you obtain? Derivation. You obtain something like this. Sorry. Sum is over all the possible indices. Okay, so this is more or less you derive this function. So now you have to count the number of roots of this guy, but in fact you can realize that this is more or less given by the number of railroads of polynomial of degree n, because you can multiply by the product of all polynomials, and what you get is a polynomial of degree n here. So finally, okay, we obtain this bond. But now I would like to have a bond which take into account of the coefficient of the coefficient matrix, the coefficient of the coefficient matrix, and the coefficient of the exponent matrix, and they are here. You see the depend on the matrix A, and this is the coefficient of the coefficient matrix. So ideally, I would like to, I can try to use standard Descartes rule of sign, because this is a polynomial of degree n if I multiply by the product of all pi, but it does not work. It turns out that, in fact, the 1 over pi satisfy sometimes the Descartes rule of signs. So, here come into play the notion of Wronskian that Sébastien recalled a few minutes ago. So we consider analytic function, say, from some interval in R to R, and we say that they satisfy Descartes rule of sign if for any real numbers A1 to AK, the number of roots of the corresponding linear combination is bounded from above by the sin variation of the coefficient. So in the classical case, the hash I adjusts the monomials. Okay? And so you obtain that 1 x to the square of x, and so on, satisfy Descartes rule of signs. And there is a criterion. So I learned this during a talk given by Pascal, say 1 or 2 years ago, and I was very exciting. And there is a criterion. So this is equivalent to saying that the Wronskian of this function is not 0 on the interval. And in fact, any other Wronskian, you take Wronskian of some subfamily of function, square Wronskian, sub-Wronskian, say, and for any two Wronskians of the same size, they should be the same size. They should have the same sign.
All the sub-Wronskians also have the same size? The same sign?
Sorry. No. So you look at the size. So there is for the maximal size k, there is only one Wronskian, so nothing happens. For the k equal to 1, so size 1, sorry, you only have, in fact, the Wronskian is just h1 and h2 and so on. So you assume that they have all the same sign on E. After you look at the Wronskian of size 2, and you say they have all the same sign, either all positive or all negative, and so on. Okay. So this is in the book by Poliazego, which was mentioned by Sébastien in his talk. So, and it turns out that if you apply this to the function that I am interested in, we obtain some very nice result. So I think I have more or less no time. You've run out of time, but that's right. No, it's okay. I can stop there, but perhaps I can just say something. Last sentence. If you say, for example, here. Just an example. Perhaps I can do that. There is a. Okay. I did not define P0, but it doesn't matter. In fact, you obtain something like a constant time a product of the Pi, which are all positive, so you don't care about this. And what you obtain here is that a product of 2 by 2 matrix, determinant of 2 by 2 matrix, which are this guy. And this guy, Pi and Pj, are just the point with coordinates. Those coordinates are the coordinates of the polynomial Pi. So you have some point. You have some point in the plane. And what you want to have, in fact, you want to have that these determinants are all positive. So you want to order the points so that each determinant is positive if the order is good. And in fact, it turns out that it is equivalent to saying that all these points are contained in some open half plane. So if they are all in some open half plane, you can do that. You take the first one here, sorry, P, I don't know, K. You order your points so that in this way, and then all this determinant will be positive. And so Descartes rule of sign is satisfied by your. And the fact that all these points are contained in some open half space is equivalent to the fact that the polytope here is non-empty. So that's good. So if you have some positive solution, then it is not empty. So this is the idea. That's all.
Do you think you can count with multiplicity?
Without multiplicity. Like in Descartes rule of sign, Descartes rule bond is the count without multiplicities.
No, but the original Descartes rules counts multiplicity. The original one. For one variable, you count multiplicity. So I'm thinking maybe this one. Is that possible?
You mean? I'm not sure. It should count with multiplicity. Yes. Okay.
Gale duality preserves multiplicity. So if you count
Yeah.
multiplicity of your polynomial.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Sure. I'm right. You're right. But, yes, perhaps. Yeah. Sorry.
Another question? Okay, then we'll take a lunch break. Thank you again.